Right now, let's talk with the mayor of Tuscaloosa. It is a high-profile day here in T-Town. As you can see, a lot of activity already happening here on the campus of the University of Alabama. Mayor Walt Maddox, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, thank you, Ryan, and I enjoyed the Ozzy bumper music. That was great.
Hey, just an intro. I mean, it gets you fired up. You need a little energy at, you're probably, 16, 17 hours today? I mean, a long week for, I know, a lot of you guys here in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, it's worth it. I mean, the eyes of the nation are going to be upon us, both in terms from a sporting standpoint and probably another aspect. And what better city to host it in than Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Well, when you look at this city, I said it earlier, when you talk about the president of the United States coming and you think about just looking at it and saying, how many places could really handle this type of environment? But I think we're accustomed to big games, and we're certainly accustomed to big people coming for those big games.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And the fact that we'll already be geared up for game day, especially an extraordinary game day with LSU and all that brings, certainly it's going to stretch us logistically, but I have no doubt we can rise to this challenge. I think it speaks to the power of Alabama football, and it speaks to the capacity of this city to be able to do it, that the President of the United States and his team trust us to make certain that he has a good time in Tuscaloosa, and that's what we plan on doing.
What is the elevated logistics? What is the manpower that goes in something like this? And I know it will not all be you guys. I mean, it'll be the Secret Service and the feds and the different security teams that'll be a part of that. But what goes into this? What type of planning heads up do you guys get? I mean, what's the elevation process?
Well, on Sunday morning, actually, Chief Tubbs and I were driving down to a meeting in Mobile. So about 10 o'clock that morning, we got notification that this likely may take place, that we were put on alert and to begin the planning process. So we literally have been going since Sunday. On a normal game day, we have 400 to 500 city employees, depending upon if it's really an SEC game or not, who will work in an operational window between Thursday night and early Sunday morning. With the president's arrival, that operational window is still about the same, but we'll probably have closer to 800 employees working. Again, different windows, different times. You've got to remember we can't exhaust everyone at one time. The good news about this is that number one, you've got UAPD, and UA is the host of this event, and so they will do an exceptional job in coordinating their assets, and UAPD is phenomenal. Sheriff's Office is second to none. Northport PD does a fantastic job, and they will be assisting. And we also got help from other municipalities around the state who are providing help. On top of that, you can imagine there's a federal profile that will be assisting. So all in all, it'll be very well coordinated, and we will coordinate with our federal partners to ensure that the president has a good time if he decides to come, and that all of our guests have a great time in Tuscaloosa and enjoy the game.
What is an economic impact of a game that this magnitude would mean for this community?
You're talking, well, first there's the direct, and you're probably talking 25 to 26 million because, fans, the high level visit, you're bringing in LSU that not only brings the ticketed fans, so the 6,000 or 7,000 ticketed fans, they're going to probably bring another 15 to 20,000 that will be in our community sometime beginning Thursday and will all the way to Sunday. So it's going to be a huge economic weekend for us, and we're certainly glad that this rivalry has created this type of atmosphere in Tuscaloosa as part of the Sabanomics of what has happened.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, Ron, though, the great thing is that the national attention you can't quantify. I mean, think about how many times Tuscaloosa has been talked about in the last 2 weeks. Millions of dollars, tens of millions in free advertising.
Yeah, I mean, as you're sitting here talking, I'm looking up at ESPN and a couple of national broadcasts, and that word Tuscaloosa. I mean, I've often thought about this, and I've said it multiple times. When you study the economic impact of a guy like Nick Saban, of what he was able to do and coming in and building this dynasty, you think about the student growth, and it's not just the current growth, but it's the future growth. Those kids and that generation and their families are going to be connected, and they'll probably, some of those will end up coming to the University of Alabama economically. As you said, I mean, it's really hard to quantify everything that you benefit from.
Well, I remember Bob Witt said a few years ago he was the best economic investment the University of Alabama has ever made, and there's no doubt about that. What Coach Saban has meant to this community is only paralleled maybe by Bear Bryant, even in a different context, a different era. And it's good for all of us. It's good for our university. It's good for those that, all of us who benefit by the university, which is a $2 billion plus economic impact on our community. So this is a very fortunate time that we live in. And I know there's some who want to who want to cast a negative shadow on the president coming. I mean, certainly it's a logistical challenge, but I'll tell you that anytime you have the potential for a president visiting your community, it is good for your community. And we're excited about the opportunity if it unfolds.
A lot of people have talked about Tuscaloosa National Airport, right? I got to get that right? I'm
Yeah.
Not no longer a regional airport, Tuscaloosa National Airport, and some things that are part of Elevate Tuscaloosa, and some exciting news, hopefully in the future that continues to grow. But when you look at the airport, what is the capacity? I mean, is it when you is it? Because we got a debate yesterday, and I swore up and down that I've seen Air Force One at the airport when 2011 happened here with President Obama coming to town.
It's well, it is well, as you know, it's Air Force One anytime the president's on it. But it would technically, it's most likely if he does come to Tuscaloosa, would be the vice president's plane, referred to as Air Force Two.
Okay.
And it really has more to do with the length of the runway itself and where they prefer to land. Our runway here in Tuscaloosa is 6,500 feet. Which is, in most cases fine, but certainly the plane the president rides in is a weaponized passenger airplane, that's heavy and it's big and probably needs a little bit more runway. They could probably land it there, but would probably prefer not to. So if he does come, I would imagine that would be the airplane, but those are details that will ultimately be up to the Secret Service.
At what point will you truly get a confirmation? I mean, anything could change when you're the president of the United States, and things could be up in the air and cancellations could happen. I mean, what point will you get a confirmation?
I would think sooner rather than later. I would think sometime in the next 24 hours we would probably get the final clearance to move forward. And certainly when you're the president, you've got so many moving parts. It's impossible with what a president has to do to finalize anything. But my sense would be in the next 24 hours. The good news is if it does happen, we're certainly prepared and excited about the opportunity. Whether you're Republican or independent or Democrat, and whether you have strong feelings, positively or negatively regarding the president, we're all Americans. He's our commander in chief, and he's chosen to come to Tuscaloosa. And I think we, as a city, we have an obligation to welcome him and to ensure he has not only a safe visit, but a great time in our city. And that'll pay dividends for our communities, in our community in the future, because when our federal delegation lobbies on behalf of our city, he will remember being here in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, that's no doubt a huge value. Mayor Maddox, what does the public need to know about the logistics around Saturday? Because it's not only, I mean, if you took out the president, it's going to be a crazy. I mean, I don't know what the population of Tuscaloosa will be there for 24 to 36 to 48 hours, but it would probably double. I think that's an easy, fair estimate. But what are the logistics, and how can people really connect with what you guys are able to provide?
Well, I think the rule of thumb is to be flexible. It will be ever changing. And all I know is my experience when President Obama was here. But there were a lot of changes, and I think sometimes those changes are intentional. And so just be very flexible with traffic patterns, parking patterns, closures. Sometimes these things will evolve very quickly. And so I would just arrive early. I would be prepared to be delayed, whether it's parking, traffic, or entry into the stadium. And just take a deep breath and enjoy the moment of one of the biggest college football games of this century, an opportunity to possibly see, but at least be in the presence of the commander-in-chief and enjoy the moment. So just try to think of it in those terms, and just know there's going to be, more than 1,000 people, probably 700 plus city employees who are working as hard as they can to keep you safe and to have you enjoy this experience.
Yeah, one of these days I want to get you in, and we're going to talk about logistics, because I think it's fun to explore what you guys in the manpower from the Tuscaloosa Police Department, as you said, the Sheriff's Department, Northport, University of Alabama Police Department. I mean, to me, it's fun to kind of explore. I don't really know if we truly understand the man hours that it takes to pull off an average football game. And then when you look at the eyes of the country on us, and it's amplified with an Alabama LSU, it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be huge.
If you enjoy logistics, you would everything from water pressure to making certain that the street lights work. There's a huge operation, but the university does a great job of managing the campus, the city, the sheriff's office, Northport all work together seamlessly throughout the county. It's a great team operation. Hey, we all got to roll in the process, Ryan, and our job is to ensure a safe and fun environment for our guests.
Hey, there's no doubt about it. Well, listen, I appreciate you jumping on for a couple of minutes. I mean, it's a fun environment. I mean, as you can tell, I know you're probably working there in your office, but when you look at this town, I thought it was Sunday, Monday, when the energy began to build. And for those who listen via the internet outside of our area, I said, come on in and enjoy the environment. Electricity, the energy is beginning to build here, and we're only on Wednesday evening. I can only imagine what Thursday and Friday is going to bring.
It's going to be epic, and let's enjoy this moment because we're going to be talking about it for years, possibly decades to come.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, Mayor Maddox, for jumping on for a couple of minutes and kind of explaining all the logistics and trying to get a little bit more information. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Take care, Ryan.